Everybody's girl, Miss Ursula. We are live tonight, keeping it 100. We have Mr. Houston Vines in the building. We have Tobias in the building. We have Courtney in the building. Thank you guys for joining us again. We are virtual tonight. I appreciate you guys joining in. We got a full conversation tonight. Some controversial topics tonight. As a matter of fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually go on to the Facebook page because we're streaming live on Facebook. And I'm going to tag an old military friend of mine. His name is William Willis. We all were family back in Germany. And we've been going back and forth online about the whole abortion debate. Okay. So I'm going to tag him so that when we get to that conversation, hopefully he'll see it and chime in. But before we do that, we anybody got anything going on? Anybody got anything going on this week coming up or next week? Houston.
With me, I definitely got a photo shoot I got to do this weekend. Okay. So I would be doing that. But it's local. This is going to be local. I'm going to be actually, look, I'm saying it like I don't know who the person is, but I'm going to keep it quiet for right now. I'm going to keep it quiet. Just in case that person happened to mention it, but
okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I've got a photo shoot to do this weekend. I've got a few projects I need to edit and stuff like that. So that's about it.
I know we have still got game tournament coming up. Give us some information about that real quick.
Yes, this is going to be Thanksgiving weekend. Pamela Foreman is the creator of the Still Got Game basketball tournament and is coming back again to Greenville, North Carolina. It is going to be Thanksgiving weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The last couple of years, through 3 days, I think we had over 3,000 people come through from Friday to Sunday. And it's an old school basketball tournament where all the different high schools in the area, people come back. You got to be 30 and over, play on the same team. Man, it's been interesting. It's going to be fun.
Now, I will say we went last year and had a ball. Houston actually invited Jacob to DJ. And the DJ that was there, please give me his name again.
DJ 6ix9ine or 6ix9ine.
Yes, DJ 6ix9ine. Great guy. He actually, a lot of people don't want to share the spotlight or, anything like that and don't want to kind of like, pay it forward. And when Jacob was there, he was actually to go do something and Jacob took over while he was gone. And when he came back, Jacob was packing his stuff up. He's like, wait, where you going? He said, come on. And they started like tag teaming and he was just giving him pointers and things like that. So big shout out to DJ 6ix9ine. I appreciate it. Jacob, he won't forget it. He had a ball that night. He just really, he was in his feelings when he was over there in the DJ booth. And so, but it was a great time, even though Houston was kind of people, because that fast break won't so fast anymore.
It's called hit the brakes. That's what it is now. Hit the brakes. Because a lot of the guys, you got to look at it. A lot of the guys that started with us, they were 30 and 35. This thing has been going on over 15 years now. So a lot of the guys, if they were 30 then, where does that make them? 30, 40, 45?
50.
Yeah. Because some of them started when they was like 40 when they started playing.
Wow. But I will say, Houston, that the ones who were those who had the jump shot, they ain't lost their touch.
Oh no.
Let me tell you what I saw. The ones that were a little bit older, not as fast, they didn't do the fast break. They kind of hung back by the half court line. And they would get that shot, they would get the fast break, and they would pass the ball down. They would go to that 3-point line, shoot it up. They didn't move between the top of the 3-point line and the half court the whole night.
They look more like soccer players because soccer players don't run the whole field. They got that position, half court, quarter court. So yeah, no doubt.
We had a great time. I'm looking forward to going this year.
Yeah, let me say this before I forget too.
Yeah.
Jacob is actually invited to come back again this year if he has time to DJ.
Definitely.
We'd love to have him.
Let him know.
Yeah, let him know. We're going to be there also with gospel radio station I've been working with. They're going to be there for one night. They may do it on Sunday and part of Saturday.
Oh, and Houston, what is the new radio station? I mean, the new radio station that you have.
Called Greater Wave Radio.
Greater Wave Radio.
Yeah, this young man that started it, I started helping him out with it. Me and another partner of mine started out with him, but now it's down to two of us. We were hoping it was going to stay three, but now it's just down to two.
Okay.
Yep, just down to two of us. So, but yeah, I'm gonna start sharing the radio station and playing some of the music. It's a gospel hip hop radio station.
Okay.
And a lot of the music, I'm like, ooh, I never heard this before. Okay. And so people are starting to enjoy it. We're gonna start sharing it. So if you have a small business, we would love to do some commercial ads and stuff for you. Just
Definitely.
let us know. gwnow.com.
Now, we're gonna go to, because we always know Maurice got something going on. We're gonna go to Courtney. Courtney, you got anything coming up? You muted, honey.
You muted.
You muted.
I forgot. She was so quiet. I forgot to ask her.
You muted. I don't think she can hear us. You muted. We can't hear you.
We'll come back to you, dear. Nope, we can't
Come
hear
back.
you.
Yeah, we can't hear you. Maurice, what you got going on?
Well, I just did a part in a movie with for Ty Banks. The young man has done Hit a Lick 1 and 2 and Messy and
Maurice. Okay, stop. Wait. How you gonna do a movie and not mention it? Because you told me if I knew anybody doing anything to let you know, and I said the same thing. Come on.
Well, how was he? Let me finish saying what I gotta say first.
Okay, never mind.
That was a surprise, basically to me. Jody Vons came up to me and asked me if I wanted to be in a movie. He says because Ty Banks wanted me to be in one of his things. So I said, sure. And that is how I ended up on one of the latest that he's getting ready to come out with. And after that, looks like there might be more stuff in the works as we go. So that's one thing. The second thing is I am on the 11-month countdown of leaving this country, and but I will be coming back from time to time to do movies or TV shows and stuff like that. But I'm not coming back to Greenville again. There's nothing here except for a storage unit. So I'll probably come back to the storage unit and maybe holler at my brother, but that's about as good as it's gonna get. But I'll be in Raleigh, so you guys will have contact with me the whole time I'm overseas.
Okay.
So
he's gonna still join the show.
Yes, I'm still gonna do the show with you guys, even overseas, because I'll be sitting, bouncing around like every 2 or 3 months outside, and then come back here, come back to the country for about a month, so to see family and you guys and everything, and maybe do some parts. But other than that, those are the two biggest things that are going on with me. So I'm on countdown. So,
hopefully while you're gone, we can actually connect with people over there.
Yes.
And you can get to know those businesses over there. And, hopefully you can, interview them or bring them on the show so we can talk to them and just get a taste of the other side of the world.
Absolutely. You guys. Yeah, because that's the whole thing. Even for other people who have asked me to do the same thing for them, they want to me to make sure that I have some type of connection so I could, bring those two hemispheres together. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun.
Well, I'm happy for you. If you're happy to go, I'm happy for you. I will say that the best time I've had in my adult life was in Germany.
Yes.
And if I didn't love my family so much, I think I would have extended my stay there.
Everybody I've ever known.
This was the 90s now. This was the 89 to 90s. So I don't know about right now.
Everybody I've ever known that has gone to Germany including myself. Now I've been a lot of places there. We had nothing but a good time, you know. Even prior to me going, I kept hearing stuff about it. When I finally went, I was like, "Oh man, it's better than what they said." But I'm going to Asia because that one is top notch. So yeah, I'm passport broing it. You know, I'm going all out now. You know, I tried to be good, but the hell with that. I'm going to go there and have a ball.
We talked about this, and we had this conversation a couple of times on the show.
Yeah.
And I think it planted that seed, or either watered the seed that was already planted.
No, that seed was there, right? But it wasn't in the soil. Okay, it was basically in a package, you know, to say, okay, are we going to put it in there? We're going to water it or what? Or we're just not going to do it. And for a long time, I was not going to do it. Okay, but now, recently, it's come to me that I need to do that. So it's a definite thing that's going to happen now. There's no backwards going on this one. This is happening, and then then you'll get a full interview from a passport bro. Okay, while I'm there, you'll be seeing things. And I'll be telling you things so that way you get the whole truth of what's happening while we're there.
We're going to have to do that show because I have a friend who wants to be a passport bro. He was in the military also. Shout out to Tyrese. Okay, he was one of the
Tyrese.
He was on the show back when me and Jay was at the studio. And we were just talking about that same conversation a couple of days ago.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but you know, he's real radical with his, you know, I'm the women over here, and I'm like, okay, we're not gonna do that. You know, you want what you want, but you ain't gonna come for us. What you not gonna do?
It's gonna be a ball. When I finally get to do that, I will definitely make sure that you see it, because you know me, I don't hide nothing. So I will make sure that you see, you'll have videos and pictures of the lifestyle that will take place the whole time I'm there.
I don't even know about that, because now it's like
then you can say, hey, and then you can say, well, hey, wait a minute, you know, is it? In fact, somebody had just did this thing where they had they took a picture of this old white guy, and it said, it was calling him a passport bro or something like that. And it was like a guy here in the States, and then it showed this other guy, him, who's living over in one of these countries. And both of them about the same age, both of them done about the same thing. But the dude that was still over here, man, he looked toe up from the floor up and worried and beat down. And it was a mess. No, I'm just saying with the video showed, I wish I had kept the show to you. But then the other dude, man, I mean, he was in shape. He looked good. His skin was all right, everything. And he was happy. And I think that's the thing that people have forgotten, is that, you know, you got to do things that make you happy. Mm-hmm. You can't go through this life, you know, being upset and mad and mad at this person because you felt like they are keeping you from doing what it is that you need to do. You have to do what makes you happy. And because you only get one shot at this. Yeah. It's only one shot. So you might as well just go ahead and do it, no matter what the naysayers may say. So I make sure that I will have plenty of videos for you so that you'll be like, oh, snap, he wasn't lying. Nope, I wasn't.
Prayerfully for me, I can make it through 2024. And I said, you know, I'm just trying to get all my ducks in a row now, but 2025, it's like, you know, I'm not gonna let the grass grow under my feet. You know, I've had too much experience in this life to be, you know, my kids, I have, you know, my daughter will be 16 years old, you know, going, you know, into her junior year of high school. And she's very self-sufficient. Of course, her brother's still here, her dad's here, her grandparents, you know, her aunts. So she'll be well taken care of. And I'm not going for no month. But if I decide to go on a trip by myself for a week or two, you know what I'm saying? That should be my prerogative. That I should be able to do that. And that's what I intend to do from the end of this year on, just because life is too short. And I miss the traveling that I did in the military, you know, where I was carefree and hitting those airports and running and catching these flights. I miss that. So, but safe travels. You know, definitely we have you for 11 more months. So we're going to definitely make good use of that. Miss Courtney, your voice, is your mic working? We still can't hear you. Houston, what you got going on? You muted her.
I ain't muted her at all, but we good. We good. When she get back in, get that sound straight, we're gonna jump on in this subject.
She's there. Just can't hear her. Can you hear us, Courtney?
You hear us? Yep, she can hear us.
But we can't hear you. Not sure why. We can't hear you.
She gonna figure it out.
But we're gonna get into the conversation because it's been a lot going on. So definitely the conversation tonight, we're gonna jump right into the most controversial thing going on the planet right now, which is Diddy.
What in the world is that?
Diddy. So my question,
brother love the diddler.
And before we get started, I will say that the song with LL Cool J and Eminem, Fire does not describe this song. And for anybody who hates on Eminem or think that he's washed up, let me tell you, he completely destroyed the mic on this song that they got coming out. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I heard it. I heard
it. My gosh. And when I say he comes with a jugular, he don't pull no punches. He says it. And I mean, but he's a lyrical genius anyway.
Right.
And you literally have to go back and you have to like listen to it a couple of times to get the little nuggets that he's dropping.
Right.
Are you talking about the song All Up?
Is that the name of it?
It's just the latest one from
he got a song called LL Cool J. I thought about Eminem. Eminem got a
but he's on this song with LL Cool J.
Well, he got a song called All Up where he's going off on Diddy and everything. So I don't know if that's
the one.
I have not heard that one.
Yeah, it's called All Up.
The one where he says I can't think of the lines, but did he live out he left out the P, did he? Do you remember first time you heard the legend the career ended with the broke killers?
I don't know. No, wait a minute.
LL.
What, the one that just played?
Yeah.
Could you hear it?
I could hear what you was playing, yeah.
How is that? Because before you guys couldn't hear it. I was just trying to get it played.
But of course with the radio, if you play too much of it and they catch it, we'll get muted. So yeah. But yeah, and so my question is
Murdergram. Okay, no, the song they did was called Murdergram Do. Murdergram Do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was his lyrics were like diabolical. There's no way he was the old Slim Shady from back when he didn't give two shakes about nothing.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I mean that's classic Eminem.
Eminem has always been badass to me, man. I mean, his lyrics would hit you, his songs would hit you, at the appropriate times that, when they came out. I was like, wow, he's bad.
And the way he does his lyrics, like you can listen to a song and be like, oh, I heard, you can be vibing with it, but then you hear somebody else talk about it and you're like, that was in there, and you have to go back and listen to it to catch it. But yeah, so as far as the Diddy thing is concerned, do you guys think now, and it's been speculation all over the place on all sides, is it conspiracy? Is it chickens coming home to roost? Just justice coming out finally, or do you think it's a little bit of both?
Words have power. We all know that words have power, and I know. I used to have a girlfriend that would use the words bae or baby or whatever to describe me. And I had to tell her, hey, don't do that. I'm not a baby, I'm not a bae or anything like that. Don't describe me as such. Use that for babies. As a grown man, you use that. Well, P. Diddy liked to use bad boy. I'm was it Bad Boy Productions, Bad Boy this, I'm and it became such a way with him that he actually became the thug and the bad boy that he is.
Yep.
Perhaps if he had used such things as good guy, maybe this crap wouldn't have happened. But unfortunately, he chose the wrong words to use to describe himself.
He's living up to everything that he said in his music. He predicted his own future. Because I was trying to find the song, but he mentioned one of the songs that he put out is how he was such a bad boy that the feds and New York police gonna have to come find me and try to put me in prison. And because for the parties that I throw, he says all this in his lyrics about 10, maybe 12 years ago.
Yeah.
And everything has come home to roost. This one, I think, is a setup. Now I'm not saying he didn't do this stuff. He definitely do. A lot of this stuff he definitely did.
Yeah.
And he did it very, very well. But the reason why I say it's a setup is because there were so many people that knew he had been doing this. It only became a problem. It only became a serious problem when I can't name the largest liquor company that he was with, and he's finding out there's some money missing, and he wanted the company, and he's like, okay, we're gonna have to come to some sort of understanding conclusion, but he won't backing down. And then all of a sudden, here come the feds. Now, there's a lot of stories going around that saying that the feds knew what he's been doing forever and a day, and they were fine with it because there are going to be a lot of names that are going to be named, from politicians to lawyers to doctors to producers to CEOs
to senators,
ministers,
judges, all of them.
There are going to be a lot of people. Names that are going to be coming out, and if it don't come out, it's because they squashed it. But,
now remember, so when you said the names is coming out, do you think that's what Diddy's ace in the hole maybe?
No. His ace in the hole is the reason why he was able to do what he's done for so long is because he had this information. That was his ace in the hole. He had this information. But now that stuff is starting to come out, and it all started when he didn't go ahead and settle in that last lawsuit, from Cassie.
Yeah. But now you do know a couple years ago, Diddy turned down 9 figures. Okay. And gave the Bad Boy artists their publishing rights back. Remember that came out, I think year before last year.
Oh,
but
wow.
see, here's the deal with that. He did it as a goodwill gesture because his name was Mud.
But what I'm saying is he turned down 9 figures to do this. Okay.
Wow.
And the whole thing is a lot of the artists that we see now who have either died or have went to jail. When you trace back, even through the muddy stuff that they did, when you trace it all the way back, it goes back to the power that they was having. Bill Cosby, prime example. These allegations were from decades ago.
Right.
And did not surface until he was by, was it NBC or CBS? One of the two.
Right.
NBC.
So he's trying to buy
NBC.
NBC, and all of a sudden, all of this stuff started coming out. Okay.
Right.
R. Kelly wanted his masters. He started questioning because money. All of a sudden now, the things that we know, they supposedly had a tape of him, a smoking gun, pretty much, and he did not go to jail because of that.
Right.
But fast forward, and they build a case based on one female who admitted to skipping school without her parents knowing it, taking a bus across town to go to his trial in the hopes of meeting him and getting to know him. So to me, and don't get me wrong, I know she was underage, but that shows being complicit. Because you literally had enough sense to deceive your parents, catch a bus across town, skip school the whole day to go to this man's trial for a whole week just to see him and give him your phone number.
Right.
And so
what you saying?
What I'm saying is, if the tape of him with an underage girl that came out way back in the day did not put him in jail, and then fast forward, he asked for his master's, and right after that, this case comes about.
Right.
And now all of these people have something to say. That is the one part of every single one of these cases that bothers me.
Well, I mean, but see, I get that it bothers you, but people are going to do that. And that's why certain things you try not to have hanging over your head so people can do that. They're going to do it.
Well, I think with me and the issue that I have is this, and like I said, we were talking earlier about criminal justice. I don't believe in letting the small fish go to get the big fish. I believe in holding the small fish accountable and maybe not being punished to the extent that you should be in order to get the big fish, but I'm not going to let you go.
Well, a lot of times, I mean, sometimes they'll let the little fish go because they know sometimes that little fish should go back out and bring in more bigger fish.
But at the same time, the girls, okay, so R. Kelly never actually went and found any women or girls to come be with him. This was the story that came out.
How you figure that?
This is the story that came out. His bodyguards, his entourage would go to the mall.
Right.
And he would go to the mall and these girls would see him, and these bodyguards or whoever was with him actually said, hey, R. Kelly's in town, you want to come and party or whatever. Got these phone numbers, gave these girls addresses, regardless of their age, and had them come and see him. Now, he didn't go to the mall like, look, I like you. I know you, whatever, but I like you. Come back to my hotel room with me.
Right.
For me, what his entourage did was trafficking. Because anybody that comes out here and tries to kidnap a kid off the street to take that kid somewhere else to be sold, and then they're done after that. They're done after that. All they did was get the kid and take him to the person, and then the person takes the kid, and that person just goes back and finds more kids. You are just as complicit in everything that occurred as the person that was doing it. If R. Kelly should have went to jail, which of course we know.
those guys should have went to jail. But then there are other situations too involving the parents. The parents are still are in charge of those kids. They're responsible for them, and they should have went to jail right along with them.
So the newest allegation that came out was Justin Bieber's mom says that this has been going on forever, and she's mad at Usher and P. Diddy for what they did to Justin Bieber. And my question is, if you knew this back then, why are you just now saying something after he gets arrested?
I get it. I mean, I get what you're saying. I'm gonna tackle that. Let me back up, because I'm not gonna let you slide on something you said.
What I said?
Yeah.
Now, you said that R. Kelly didn't go pick up the girls. His bodyguards did. He just went to the mall so they could see him.
Go back. Yeah.
Not all the time he didn't go to the mall. A lot of the guys were going to the mall. They would see girls like, hey, we're with R. Kelly. He's in town for the concert. You know, you want some tickets or you want to come back and meet him.
Right. But that was pimping.
And
that was pimping. They were going to get, because they're getting paid by R. Kelly to bring the kind of girls that he liked back to him. Mm-hmm. So he can have his choice of what he wanted to try to do. Some may say yes, some may say no. But
isn't that called sex trafficking?
Yeah, that's called sex trafficking.
So how are they not complicit in the illegal going on that R. Kelly was involved with?
No, I wasn't saying that they shouldn't get in trouble as well.
Oh,
you made it, but the way that you said it, you made it sound like R. Kelly didn't do nothing.
No.
They just went and got the girls. Now, if you're saying that they should have been getting in trouble too, I'm with you on that. But what they did, what they end up doing, that's what you was talking about, the big fish and the small fish.
Yeah.
A lot of them didn't go to jail because they ratted out when the time came. They ratted out on R. Kelly. Is that what you're saying?
Mm-hmm. But I don't even consider it rat now. I consider it, jumping ship to save yourself when you were just as needy. Like the person that said that they walked in on R. Kelly and Aaliyah when she was underage having sex, or the minister who married. I'm sorry. So they went and they falsified her birth certificate to make her overage in order to get married. Right.
Well, I agree with you. Then I'll back up. All of them should be getting some sort of time. The minister, only if you can prove that he knew that the paperwork was fake. Mm-hmm. Those guys that were going to the mall to pick up these young girls, because if they're inviting just only the young girls, of course. If they're inviting people that they think R. Kelly gonna find sexy or whatever the case is, they didn't commit a crime in that. Two, when the women come to the concerts, they did not, whether they were young or not, they had the right to say no, and they should have. But R. Kelly should be smart enough to know I can't mess with these young girls. So if somebody give you $50,000 a week in salary, and your job is every time we go to go find these girls to make sure they come to the show, some people gonna do it. Okay, but I got a question.
When you start out, okay, and you start out with this job, you go into the malls and these eateries or whatever, and everybody knows you got R. Kelly security on your shirt, so they know who you are.
Right.
Hey, anybody want tickets? And you got these 50 tickets in your hand, and you're giving them out to people. Okay, right. I get that. But after a while, and you know what he's looking for,
right?
You know what's going on,
right?
And you still go out, but you change the practice of how you give these tickets out, because now you're looking for a specific type, young, underaged, because that's what he wants, and you're going to give him access to them. Mm-hmm. Now you're complicit.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I totally agree with that. But the reason why, like you said, the reason why some of them did not go to jail is they started talking. Some of them may have started talking before the cops even came to them, but they don't made their money. So they're completely wrong. To me, some of them should have been getting 2 to 3 years in prison, if not more than that, along with R. Kelly. Mm-hmm. Some of these concert promoters that had R. Kelly come, and they knew that he was in the back with a bunch of young girls, and they didn't cut that off. They could be complicit. They need to go to jail to get some sort of fine. So there's a lot of all of that that's going on. But what the FBI does, they play the game of, they want the big fish. They want the notoriety. So they're going to give up 4 or 5. They'll give up his driver and the guys going getting the food and the ones going to the mall to get to R. Kelly. Because if they arrest those guys first and then never get to R. Kelly, they're going to give up whatever they can to get to the big fish.
But that's the thing.
Same thing they're doing with Sean Diddy Combs. They gave up a lot of people. Sean Combs got drivers. He's got these captains on these yachts that are driving the yachts. I ain't heard nothing about them going to jail, but why they're on that yacht, They saw these young girls. They saw
Mm-hmm.
people that were of age that got flown in, and some of them laid over there slumped over because they've been drugged and they know what's going on. They were complicit in that too.
But now that's the thing. And I think Dr. Umar brought it up when he was talking to on the Breakfast Club to Charlemagne. He said that until the video of Diddy beating up Cassie, who's fair skinned, long hair, you can tell she's not 100% African American. Until that video came out, it was a he say, she say kind of thing with Diddy.
Right.
Everybody was outraged when they saw the video.
Right.
He said if that person looked like Lizzo, would everybody have still had the same reaction?
Of course they would.
Sadly, I don't think they would have.
Yeah, they would have. You know why? Because even if it was Lizzo getting her butt whooped by somebody, they still would have felt, because once you put your hands on a woman, they automatically gonna put you in a certain category. We see that every day. So even when it doesn't happen, people go to jail. When someone that's a celebrity does it, if they got enough money, they can get out of it. But it wasn't so much her fair skin in the whole nine. It's the fact of who he was. He paid $50,000 to get the tape back from the hotel. He has done stuff like this have been rumored, and they have been building a case against him forever and a day. They've heard about stuff like this forever and a day.
I don't want the people that are listening on the show now, to think that I am defending Diddy at all, because that is definitely not what I'm doing. Okay.
What you want is fairness.
Exactly.
If these other folks out here are going to, like, you got one idiot out here. This guy's actually running for president, and he's been convicted. How is it that he is able, and he's been to the parties? So how is it that he can do all these things and be a part of that crowd, and have done much worse, like incite, all kinds of craziness, but still be able to get out of jail, do what he want to do, run for president, when you got people that have bad backgrounds, can't even vote.
Yeah.
And the problem is that, the people need to get out and do something. Okay. And when I say do something, we can protest. We had a 1 million man march years ago. I know, I was there. We had a 1 million man march, and it scared everybody, because they was like, oh, something's gonna happen. Something's gonna happen. A lot of white folks that I work with, they were like, oh, something's gonna happen. Not a thing happened. It was peaceful. Well, if we could do something that big, why can't we do the same thing? Only this time, get the system to say, okay, look, if you're going to be this way against this guy, and we're not defending him, then you need to do something about this guy.
This guy. And that, with the whole conversation we were having, was about Hugh Hefner. And I get it.
Yeah.
Hugh was an old white man. He was charismatic. He was nice to everybody that you saw on camera. He was never rude to anybody.
Right.
But in my belief, anybody that calm who ran that kind of business had to be severely cutthroat behind the scenes.
Well, I'm with you. So to battle against what y'all just said, they did do the same thing to Epstein. They were about to put him in jail for life for trafficking women, the exact same thing that Diddy is getting accused of, flying people on the yacht, and they were celebrities and all up there. So my problem is this: where's the letter from Epstein's people? He had a list. So it's not quite the same, but they are going after different people, black and white alike, but they're trying to be picky about who gets exposed.
Exactly.
Because with Epstein, I heard there was a full list that the FBI had, but that list got squashed. We don't know who these people are.
But and the thing with Epstein was, one, it was they even made a movie of it with, I think, one of my favorite actors, Channing Tatum.
Right.
It's a new movie that he has out where he's inviting these people to this island.
Right.
And then, but after nighttime,
Are you talking about Blink Twice?
is that it? I can't think of the name of it, but I haven't
Man,
seen
I heard
it.
that movie is deep.
Yeah. You watch it, and it's like you get there and you have this party scene, and everybody's like Diddy started out doing the white party, and that was back in the early 90s. And people literally tried to plan their time so that when he announced they were having a white party, that you would literally try to go and show up to be able to get in, because his parties were not exclusive in the beginning.
Right.
You white party, you show up and you can get in.
These parties these parties are absolutely unbelievable. You know, if you're in college and you go to college parties and stuff like that, and you're not used to parties like that, you be like, wow, this college party was a trip. And then you go to different ones, or whether it's fraternity or sorority, it's like, man, that was an interesting party. But then if you go to a celebrity party, at a place, you be like, I think that's why I'm wearing glasses now, because of the things I saw. I ain't gonna lie. I was taken to a party in Ohio by a celebrity. He's passed on now. He's dead and gone. Well, I'm not gonna disturb his name, but he asked me that New Year's. He said, "Hey, you want to come up? We got a party upstairs. You want to come up there and start?" I was like, "Sure." I was a young 20-something-year-old airman. It was like, okay, yeah, I'll go. So I go up the elevator, went in there, and what I saw had me like, dang. I think I walked like halfway into the place. He done disappeared. As soon as he came in there with me, he got home. But the party was huge, and there were other people in there, big names. And I looked, and when I saw what I was seeing, I said, oh, heck no, man. I quietly got out of there, hurried up, got back on that elevator, and went back downstairs and out the building.
So are you saying there's people doing the same thing Diddy's doing?
Of course.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting at. This has been going on for a while. But now, from what I'm getting at, the parties aren't the problem. It was the fact that he was having the parties, and then there's an after party after the party, that the people that he got to stay back, that there were drugs and stuff involved, and some people took it, because they wanted to enjoy. Those are the folks that are complaining. But there's some folks that were either getting rubbed in baby oil, or they was taking a shot of the punch that's on the table, not realizing that it's spiked, and then they wake up later on trying to figure out why am I sore.
They said the baby oil was just a spike.
Right.
I'm
so,
like, wow.
But that's what I'm getting at. That's where the problem has been coming in with Diddy. I'm not saying anybody else hasn't done it, but they're saying with Diddy, he is getting prostitutes, male and female, putting them on planes and flying them to the Hamptons, flying them to Martha's Vineyard to have these parties.
And that's another problem, Houston.
And some of the people did not necessarily know they were going to something this big. And once they got there, they could not leave.
They couldn't leave.
That's where the problem.
And that what you said, Houston was one of the problems, because at the beginning he was having these parties in Hollywood, Atlanta, Vegas, New York, places like that. But now he's having them in the Hamptons,
right,
in Martha's Vineyard, where there's a residence there that the president goes on vacation,
right,
in Martha's Vineyard.
Oh, but you know what though? You know what? The presidents, any of them fools, they just as bad too, because they got places out there in the the West that they go to that and I'm gonna have to get that video to you, but they go way out there and they do some of the most outlandish parties that are probably worse than what Diddy was doing. The problem is Diddy got caught. And see, that's his problem. He got caught. Now he gonna go now. He gonna tell on everybody. That.
Well, part of it as well is the fact that he recorded them without people knowing.
Mm-hmm.
That's another thing that he's getting in trouble for is.
But they found out, and that's the point. My point is he got found. He got found out.
Right.
So if he had done it and kept his mouth shut, it got it kept things. And who gonna keep your stuff? Who would keep this stuff in the house like that? No, he should have taken that stuff overseas and buried it.
They haven't found all this yet.
No, they ain't found all of it, but it's coming. It's coming.
But my thing is, but my question after all of that is this: he has video of probably said celebrities and judges and senators and police officers and all these people doing stuff with people who probably were not willing.
Right.
You have him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Y'all, are you going to go after these people?
Well, we have to wait and see on that. I mean,
I don't think so.
We can't. But see, you quick to go. I don't think so. But let's say they get 10 or 15 more people. Oh, people gonna be happy with that. They're like, well, there was a whole lot more people at the party. Then they get 40. We still not gonna be happy with that.
But I think they're gonna go with people who are gonna be sensationalized. If you can get people like Usher, Will Smith, any celebrity that is well known, well popular, that you think is gonna bring sensationalism to the situation, those are the people they're going to go after, not judges, not senators, unless it's a senator that's well known.
Right. Well, I mean, look, I'm not saying that you're wrong on that, but we're going to have to follow. I think it's going to be a lot more people than we think. Some people going to make a deal because there was a video that came out today, and this young lady, they said they got all the proof to show everything she's saying is true. The Diddy parties are even worse than what we thought.
Mm-hmm.
The lady that got interviewed today was underage when this stuff went on. She had been traumatized to the point that she has split personalities. So I'm trying to figure out, okay, can this really be true what she's saying? Because if she got split personalities, but then when I got halfway through listening to it, and they say that she reported this over 5 to 8 years ago about the tunnels under Diddy's house. There's not like a tunnel that he dug out. They were professionally made, and when you go through it, you cannot find your way back out. There are apartments underground.
Yeah, I saw videos of that today.
Wow.
Yeah.
There are apartments underground. Housing. They have actual full 500 people parties underground.
Wow.
And above, it looks like nothing is going on. So they're saying that it's worse than that. She makes a comment of how she was put on, her and about 12 other kids was set up on a table, almost like a gift. When people come in and they get to pick the gift that they want, and when they're playing with the gift, they get put back on the table for someone else. Now, if all this is true, I don't know, but she said all this has been turned over, and they're thinking that this is some of the tapes. And she said this too. She said it was stuff going on that people wouldn't believe. There were animals here. There was this going on.
Wow.
She mentioned all this stuff, and she said it was the craziest thing. And they say that she has multiple personalities to deal with this stuff. So
I wouldn't be surprised. She's not the only one. She's got other people that she said she can name. She said there were celebrities there that you'd be shocked that would, she said she didn't get shocked after a while because she was used to people like this. So that's what I'm getting at. We don't know how far it's going to go. They might get to the point where they just get rid of all the evidence. Sean Diddy Combs going to end up dead. And then all of a sudden, a building burns down with all the evidence in it. Or a plane happens to crash.
People don't believe that, Houston. People don't believe.
True.
That money gonna be good too.
I'm a firm believer that these shows that we watch they're so sensationalized.
Imitation of life.
Like the show Scandal.
Right.
It's too real to not have been based on something that somebody already knew.
Right.
Or
Right.
done.
Or done. Exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
But like I said, I if anything that he did was true of other things, the things that's going on, of course you need to be prosecuted. But I'm so tired of people engaging in all this illicit behavior, and then because they have information, oh, I'm gonna just tell on him, and I'm gonna be, I want to go free and not pay for what I did. And these same people, because celebrities keep these same people in that inner circle.
Right.
If Houston's bodyguard, Houston goes to jail, and his bodyguard, and everybody knew that he held him down, and when he was around, nobody messed with Houston. When I look for a bodyguard, who am I going? If I know he's free, who am I going to go for?
Houston bodyguard.
Right. One, you want that particular bodyguard because you know that he won't say anything.
Exactly.
And that's what people that have celebrity status do. They want someone that they say, hey, take me to hotel so and so or this particular apartment. Come back. I'll text you, and I want you to come back, and you're not gonna worry about who's in that apartment.
Hey, real quick.
Sure.
Real quick. Let me say this real quick. Let me interject. Give a shout out to Sadiq, all the way from India. Sadiq is all the way from India. He was my partner over in Kuwait as a security guard over there, watching the military forces, and he's watching there saying, "What's going on, guys? Well, what's happening, Sadiq?"
Thank you for joining, Sadiq.
Hey.
Go to our Facebook, go to Keeping It 100 Facebook page and subscribe so that we can always have you, as a viewer, and you can join in the conversation sometimes.
Excellent.
All right.
Thanks for watching, bro. We're gonna kind of move on from Diddy because we can talk about him all night. But there's another, and I know our friendly neighborhood scholar, Mr. Tobias, is gonna have a lot to say about this one.
Go ahead. What is it?
Cultural appropriation.
Oh, yeah.
Is it a compliment or an insult?
Well, it's basically you got someone adopting the identity of another culture, and then they do it in a manner that's like kind of like inappropriate. So I wouldn't call that as cool. Take for example, that people have used like the Atlanta Braves, or blackface, or just taking it and making it into adopting it without some type of permission. So yeah, that I wouldn't say that. It's more of an insult if you ask me.
What about you, Courtney?
Could you give me like a more in-depth example? Because I'm still trying to follow along.
So I went to the Bahamas, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And here, if the average, and of course, all of us have white friends of different nationalities, but here, if you see a girl, back in the 70s, 70s, back in the 90s, early 2000s, girls with braids in her hair, she was considered, that hip hop, ghetto girl kind of vibe. Okay. And fast forward, I got married, went to the Bahamas, and there were white women on the beach.
Yeah.
Paying $10 a braid to get their hair braided. Right. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. You say it looks a certain way on us.
Yeah.
But then you go get it because you think it makes you look cool. So like you can't, it's like, the people here if you downing a culture for a certain specific thing, but then you take it and figure you can make your culture cool.
Yeah. Or you go back, or you only use it. You only use it for a certain thing. Like, okay, we're going to a concert, so I'm gonna get my braids and all this stuff like that culture is, or wear certain clothes to that culture. But then the next day you go back to your regular culture and do your thing, and then talk about
You're not gonna wear it to work.
Yeah, you're not gonna wear it to work. You're not even gonna wear it to most clubs or your regular family outing. You just going to. It's just something because it's like wearing. It's like, you know how you wear a sombrero. If most people, they go to Mexico, sometimes they wear a sombrero. Okay, you know, kind of like they in the mix with everything. Mm-hmm. But then when they go back home, they ain't wearing the sombrero and stuff like that. But they don't understand why sombreros even used. Right. It's kind of like that. You know, you're only borrowing it.
So I have a perfect example for that. Now that I understand, my third grade teacher, I will never forget her. She gave me pure hell in third grade. And why I say that is, she was a Caucasian woman. She was married to a black man, and I guess the formation at school, she tried to put it on very thick. In a sense, as far as clothing and how she talked and all of that stuff, to make it very well known who she was married to. And I guess as a child, me just being neutral, not really caring about it, she would always single me out. Then I didn't know really what was going on, but now I think back, and as I got older, I began to see a lot of the kids would, I guess, flock to her and compliment her and do all those things, while me, on the other hand, I'm just chilling in class, you know, ready to go, not thinking of it. But I got treated a certain way to the point where, like, she was intentionally failing my tests. Come to find out, I had to get administered by the Pitt County schools for my end of grade testing. It was to a point where it was discrimination. And the principal and everybody had to get involved. But now that I think about it, that's exactly what was going on. But the crazy thing is, when I seen her out a few times, it was totally different. I got a totally different woman, sounded different, all those things. And you would think at school it would be that way, not the total opposite. But I guess she was trying to persuade her coworkers or whoever that she was really down, I guess.
Right.
And, I would never forget that experience. So that was a perfect example that you know. Yeah, and it was tough because as a child I didn't understand it, but now I definitely do. That's exactly what it was.
So I think, you know, to take something and disparage one culture for that, and then take it and use it for yourself, to be in to I guess to make others in your culture make it seem like you're cooler or more, you know, I guess
or something that basically something that you're not. Now there's a time and a place for something like that, and it's called theater or acting or whatever the case may be.
Correct.
But, you know, or even a specific time, like maybe Halloween parties, Christmas parties, But, you know, like, but there is no appropriate time, like dressing up as a person with a disability, and you don't have that disability.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And you doing that so that you can get some type of sympathy points.
So then how do y'all feel about blended families then? Like, how do you think that, well, there's no right or wrong, I guess, because it works for whoever. But how do y'all feel about blended families that come together that are different cultures, but I
think it can be difficult depending on the age of the children involved. So
because some kids are innocent in it, they grow up in it, and that's all they know.
Yeah.
So
it depends. It depends when it comes to the two, the male and female. It's not really a problem till other people start getting involved. Right. You know, when you start getting his parents all involved and her parents all involved in their cousins and the siblings and all them, and they start messing with her mind and they start messing with his mind, that's where the cultural problem starts, because these two people are in love. They have a thing for themselves and they're okay with it. And it's all okay until somebody else starts running their mouths to the other. And then it just, it falls down. And then the kids got to suffer because it's like, they go over to one grandmother's house. And if you like, for example, you have a Cuban grandmother and a Puerto Rican, a Cuban mother on one side, a Puerto Rican mother on the other side. The Puerto Rican gonna be mad at the Cuban, and the Cuban gonna be mad at the Puerto Rican side. And then the kids got to suffer because then one grandparent said, your hair is so nappy, you must have got it from the Cuban side. And then the Cuban gonna be like, you so bougie, you must be from the Puerto Rican, that you must got that from your Puerto Rican side. So then the kid got to suffer from those people outside mom and dad. So that's when it's a problem.
And I will say also that there's a white guy and a white girl on TikTok that adopted this little black boy. And people talk so much about them. They talk so bad about them because the mom, and there's also a white lady who has a black daughter. She adopted. And so they talk so much trash about it because she literally got on TikTok and like, you know what, this is my daughter. I love her, but I don't know how to do black hair. I don't know how to do African-American hair. So she asked for tips. Of course, you're going to have those negative people. Well, you shouldn't have got her to begin with, but I didn't see you go get her either.
And it's the society and social media thing too that gets involved. It does not help.
Like Marie said,
so many people are still stuck in their mindset of how it was or wasn't. That doesn't help sometimes when they just don't have neutral people in their lives that just say, "Hey,
I'm a firm believer that, of course, I believe that a black kid, to know who you are and your culture, should grow up in a black family, right? That would be the perfect scenario, right? But a child who has no family, who's living in foster care system, if there is someone, regardless, as long as they have true intentions, as long as that person is going to love that kid and take care of that kid, I'm pretty sure that environment is going to be better than them living in a group home. So if you want to take care of that kid, and the fact that she literally reached out and said, hey, you guys, can you help me? Now, there were some people who did, help, who did offer assistance. And then now you see her and she's doing this kid's hair on social media, and she's doing it as well as I would have. And then you have the white guy who has the black son, he's had him since he was an infant. This kid literally doesn't know the difference between his dad and a black dad. Because he told his dad, let's dress alike so people can't tell us apart. And they got dressed up. Both of them had on jeans, same color shirt, same shoes. And he thought the little boy thought it was the funniest thing because him and his dad were dressed alike. So again, kids were not born racist. It's something that inherently, even unknowing to us, we implement those values in our kids by what we do or the things they hear us say. Even if we don't do it, if we do it inadvertently. And so, but I think I don't think what the white lady was doing or this white guy was doing was called cultural appreciation. I think they were trying to implement that culture to put it into the children that they had in their lives. They weren't trying to change themselves. They were just trying to make sure that child had some kind of cultural connection to their race. So, but I think cultural appreciation is, appropriation is an insult. That's my opinion. This is my opinion. So we lost Houston. This is another situation. Another topic. I got into a conversation with one of my friends from Germany. Name is William Willis. And we're talking about abortion, pro-life versus pro-choice.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna give you my spiel on that real quick, just a couple minutes. I am gonna always be pro-life with pro-choice. I don't go around promoting abortion, but I do understand that there are situations where a child is raped, a 12-year-old is raped, or a woman is raped. A woman has complications where she may not be able to carry the pregnancy to term without some kind of negative consequences to it.
Mm-hmm.
So when I say pro-life, I'm like, of course, all babies are a blessing. If you getting pregnant, if you can have your baby, of course. But I also know it well enough to know that it should be that person's choice on what they do.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to judge them for that because it's their choice. And these pro-lifers who are so radical in their position to where no situation warrants an abortion, and I'm not wishing harm on anybody, but I'm a firm believer that if this senator's 15-year-old white daughter gets raped by a immigrant or a black man, little thug from the streets, or anybody outside of their race, he's not going to make his daughter at 14 and 15 carry this baby to term. Now, we may never know about it because that child's going to conveniently disappear for a couple months.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me that you're going to, like JD Vance, he has little bitty kids. You can't tell me that your daughter turns 12 years old and an immigrant rapes her and she gets pregnant, or a black guy rapes her and she gets pregnant, that you're going to be like, well, baby, you're just going to have to suffer through this and you're going to have this baby and we're going to raise this baby because, that's the right thing to do. No, I honestly don't believe you would do that. That's just my opinion. Maurice?
I'm it's a woman's body and it's her choice. How I feel about pregnancies and sex and stuff like that, but ultimately it is her choice. She gets to make that decision, and we just need, the government just needs to stay out of it. It is not their fight. It is not their thing. And all they did was make things worse. When they got rid of Roe versus Wade, they just made things so much worse. And it is like they went back in time again. It's just terrible. But I agree. It is a woman's choice of what she wants to do with her body, because ultimately she makes the final decision.
Well, as far as that ultimate decision, I will step back and say this. I think we need to move away from a woman having to make that decision and she gets the last say. She may get the last say because, of course, it's her body, but I think that it should be a conversation.
Well, we've conversated with that before and got nowhere. And that's why I say you can, it doesn't matter. If the yin meets the yang, the woman makes the final decision no matter what. And, they can talk about it till they're blue in the face. In the end, she's going to make a decision for 3 people.
Yep.
3 people. She's going to make a decision for herself, for him, and for that child. So it all rests with her and what she wants to do. And we just have to.
I might get some flack for this one from the females, but I'm gonna say this.
Mm-hmm.
If inadvertently you get pregnant and both of you use measures to not get pregnant, but you got pregnant anyway. If that man says, look, I'm not ready for a kid. I don't have the finances for a kid. I don't want a kid. And she said, well, I want the kid. I'm going to venture to say, I don't think that if that's a conversation that they have and they can't come to a compromise for that, that if you decide to go forward without his blessing, because it's his kid too, if you go forward, then you shouldn't then turn around and sue him for child support.
Exactly.
Because that's a decision that you made that you wanted.
Yeah.
So be prepared to handle that responsibility. And you can't be pro-life, these people that's pro-life, if you're taking away Head Start, you're taking away free meals for the kids, you're taking away Department of Education, health care. How are you pro-life? So you're pro, like I say, you're pro-birth. You're not pro-life, because if you're pro-life, it's even after that child is born.
And even then, they're not even pro-life, because look at the lives they've taken. Look at the lives that they're willing to take and everything. Those who are already here, they're not pro-life. They're not even post-life. They don't care. They're doing this to get what they want, which is recognition, votes, or whatever the case may be. You get the fakers. Folks don't even listen. There's a TV series where the guy says, where the girl asks the panel, what do they still believe that America is the greatest country in the world? And this one reporter gets up there and he's like, no, it's not the greatest country in the world. And he goes into detail why it isn't.
I saw that.
And in a nutshell, everything that he said was that the majority of the American people are crazy. They're not smart at all. They believe in stuff that don't make any sense. They believe in doing things that don't make any. They have no logic to the majority of them anyway. Have no logic to what they're doing. And in a nutshell, and that's just how it is. If you stand back and actually look at it, that's just how it is. And Republicans, the Democrats, they all go into this mindset where, okay, let's be pro-life. We're gonna save the babies, but let's go over here and get rid of these Mexicans, that are here, and separate parents from the children that were born here in this country. They still don't have an answer for that.
Exactly.
Okay. And if they could get away with it, let's kill as many white conservatives as we can. I mean, that's the mindset. That tells you the craziness. And then the people that follow behind that train of thought, these people, if you sit down and have a simple conversation with them, you're just being straight up with them, somehow they take it all the way to left field with something that has absolutely nothing to do with what we were talking about. Mm-hmm. And you can see that in just simple relationships where you have a person, she's upset because of this and everything. It is, and it could be her fault, but she finds no fault in it, or vice versa. He does something, it's his fault, but for some reason he can't seem to find the fault in it. And the kids think they so smart. And they think they're incredibly intelligent over the parents, but yet they can't feed themselves. They can't clothe themselves. They can't put a roof over their head. And yet they're going to sit there and tell you, wait, you're the parent and it's your responsibility. It always ends with that. So you got to look at these people that are saying pro-life and when they use pro-choice and words pro-choice and pro-life and they try to use the same sentence and stuff, and they're talking about They're not making any sense. Just stand back and actually look at it, and then use your mindset. Say, well, what would I do if I was in that situation? Honestly, if I was in that situation, what would I do?
But they're not going to answer that honestly, though, because they want
Of course
to.
not.
They want to stay on their side of the argument,
And they want to look good. It's aesthetics.
I think the difference in don't get me wrong, politics aside, you know, I think the difference between a certain group of people and another is the fact that, as far as me, even if if my candidate does something that's wrong, I'm gonna still hold them accountable. I'm not gonna whitewash it because I like them.
Right.
You're dead wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but you have people this person could do whatever they want to do, and it's always an excuse.
Yeah, I'm like that with family and friends. If you're, you know, I love you, the family and friends, I love them to death. But if they're wrong, they're wrong.
Yeah.
And I cannot sit there. I cannot sit or stand there and say, you know, no, because you want me to swallow something that I just don't want to swallow.
Yeah.
Okay, you are wrong in what you're doing, and I'm not going to be a part of it. You know, so
Houston, how do you feel about this whole pro-life versus pro-choice?
Like you said, at the end of the day, I think it's the woman's choice, her decision to make. But I also agree with the fact that if the man says that he does not want a child, I just don't want to do it right now. I can't do it right now. A discussion need to be made because she's making that choice to keep it. And that means he's going to have to make a choice now to pay child support.
Yep.
You know, but now if she decides that, I don't know about this. I want to go back to college. I want to go travel overseas. I want to join the circus. It can be for whatever reason she wants. And she's like, let me go make an appointment for next Tuesday.
Yep.
And it's over and done.
Yep. And she don't even have to let him know.
She doesn't have to let him know. She does not have to go, okay. The new law is if I want to have an abortion, I can do it. But I got to let him know. And plus, I've got to pay him $10,000 because he did plant the seed in me. So that's part of him. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's strange and crazy what I'm saying, but there's no accountability on that part. The thing that as somebody brought up one time, it was like, look, the seed is the man's until he left that seed somewhere. That was his irresponsibility of leaving that seed there. So it's her choice now. And I get it. The thing that gets me is, okay, damn, she's going to have this child and it is mine. It should automatically be, as soon as that baby comes out, they're going to prick the finger the same way they cut that.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And go ahead on and let's do a DNA test right off the bat. There should be
whether they're married or not.
Yeah. Whether you're married or not, it's just DNA test because right now we go ahead and find out if this child has any kind of disease or sickness coming up. We got the mom, the dad, and the child's blood, and we can test everything to make sure there's going to be a healthy child. Because there's a lot. They're starting to find out 30% to 50%. A lot of these men have been paying child support for a child that's not theirs.
That's not theirs. Yeah.
And I will say this
is higher. It's higher than what they thought. They thought it was maybe 10%, but they're finding out it's a lot higher than that.
And I'm going to say this, and like I said, I might get slack from the women about this, but there's 2 to 3 things that should be in place when a woman gets pregnant. When you have that baby, the same way they do all those tests on the baby to make sure the baby's healthy, and they run a bunch of different tests. One of them should be a DNA test. And men, young men, especially people my son's age, if you get a girl pregnant, you do not sign the birth certificate until you validate paternity.
That's right.
Because once you sign, even though she could come back and say, well, the baby's not yours, it's somebody else's, but because you sign, which is a stupid law, if you prove that this child is not this person's child, the birth certificate shouldn't matter. That person should then be held liable going forward, if not back pay, but going forward, take care of this kid.
Well, like you said, it's a law, and who does the laws? Is it Congress? Is it that's something I want to do too. I want us to have someone come on and explain it all the steps of everything. If it's a law that's on the books, that means it's a law that can be changed. So why have we not been pushing for, hey, if someone signs the birth certificate, but then within 90 days or within a year, they find out they're not the father of that child, that man's name should be able to come off. We can create a law that does that.
But see, women get mad. They get mad like, oh, well, why?
Of course they get mad because they know that a lot of them.
That's the truth.
If they have
not accountability.
Done it, right, but if they have not done it, they know of someone that has done it, and they all carry the grave. Someone that will find out that after the child is so and so from across the street, not the boyfriend that she dates, and then she'll go on the rest of her life knowing that Jimmy James is the father of that child.
Yeah,
her best friend know, her mother might know, and probably another person or two may know, or just those two know.
Been there.
And they're gonna take it to their grave.
Yeah, been there. So and all it takes is one little slip up for somebody to tell it, and then the whole world know.
But here's the thing that gets me. A lot of these people that do that and know that they are lying about the father of that child will go into the church and get their life together and go on the rest of their life as a saved, sanctified. I ain't saying it's wrong. I'm saying, but you know that you got to lie.
You're lying. You're lying. That's a lie, Houston.
You know,
and 9 times out of 10, the identity gonna show in the child that it's not his. So that's gonna be the main piece right there.
A lot of times, most of the time, but sometimes it doesn't because people do have character, certain characteristics and people they like. So she might have been messing with two people that were similar, in look. And I've seen them mess with 2 people or 3 people. And they all pretty much look like the guy she just broke up with and got the new guy looked similar to the guy she dated a year ago.
Yeah.
And I will say, in my situation, I told James a long time ago. This is back when between Jamia and Jacob between 2003 and 2009, there was a whole lot of the paternity issues around that time. And I think Michael Bazin had to been the one that came up. We had his radio show about swab your baby mouth. You know what I'm saying? That he came up with that little slogan. And I told him point blank, it ain't going to offend me. I'm not going to be upset. If you ever feel the need to go and test paternity of your children, please go and do it.
You know what? Here's the thing that's interesting to me. People are signing a petition for this, that, and the other all day, every day. I would love to see how many women have signed a petition that says that child, a blood DNA test should be mandatory. We would love for you to sign this to say that you agree. I would love to see how many women sign that, or it would be like,
it should be. You know what it should be.
But Houston, you think about it. If they got the somewhat lifestyle, or if everything's going, they're not gonna mess that up.
Exactly.
But that's what I'm doing.
They're not gonna mess that up. But their livelihood on account of the truth.
But that's the thing. I know right, but see, I know they're not gonna sign it.
Just like if a man had an outside child and they didn't know anything, he's not gonna mess his own livelihood that he got going on up for the simple fact of this outside child. So,
but that makes everybody accountable to their actions, though.
Yeah, but you know what happens though.
But reality is hard to face.
Yeah, reality is hard to face. But in most cases, back in the day, it was different. If a man go out here and have an outside child, he might can keep it quiet, but that pocketbook won't. He's gonna be paying child support.
That pocketbook won't.
A lot of men that have paid child support,
or gonna pay side money,
or 10 or 15 years of paying money on the side, like you said, on the side, or he getting paying child support and don't ever say a word about it. I remember a situation with a friend of mine. I said, please don't do that. She did it anyway. She knew who her father was. her father would come see her 3 days, 4 days out of the week for 10 to 15 years. But the wife never knew she existed.
To the funeral.
So no, not even to the funeral. he got sick, and she didn't see him for like 3 or 4 or 5 weeks because he was bedridden and the whole nine. They didn't go see him, or she couldn't go see him like she wanted. So she picked up the phone and called.
Oh God!
And the wife was like, "Well, who's this? This is his daughter. Can I speak to my daddy?" Woo. He kept that man quiet for 30 years.
That's a TV series. Look, that's a TV series about that. Soul Food used to became a television series after the movie.
I still watch.
There's an episode. Yeah, there's an episode about that. The dad had a daughter outside. Sure did. I just thought about that.
And people, and the reason why I said I don't mind is because a lot of times people think if my child don't look like me, that can't be my child. That is not how DNA works.
No,
it doesn't.
My mom is really light skinned. My dad is really dark skinned. James's mom is really dark skinned, and his dad is really light skinned.
Right.
My children, Jamia, what black people call high yellow. Jacob's dark skin.
Right.
Jacob looks like me. Jamia looks like a combination of me and James.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so people, well, Jacob might not be his. Jacob is his son through and through. I don't care how you want to slice it. And like I said, you can, because DNA doesn't lie. That's what I said. It should be mandatory at birth to establish paternity.
Right.
That goes, and it makes it easier really for everybody, because the woman now, if you have a person who's not going to step up, you have paternity already established. They need to go ahead and they can start doing child support from the very beginning.
Right.
Or that man knows, and whether he stays or not is up to him.
Right. Right.
And then she can go after the real father.
And I'm gonna try to make this real quick and short, because I love when we tell different stories. Right. There was a situation where a lady, the child was maybe 10 or 12 for whatever reason. The child got sick, and they were saying that, hey, your parents may be a match, so we can find out, how to get you some help. And the dad goes in to get tested to see if he's a match, and he finds out that's not his child.
Wow, that's got to be a blow.
That was a blow.
That's how people get killed.
He finds out, and he's like, "I'm getting a divorce from you because you've been lying." And she, how the case go. Oh my God, that can't happen. I don't know what. That's not true. I've never cheated. I've never cheated on you. And I don't know if they got the divorce, but somehow or another, the mom gets sick, they get tested, and then they find out that the child is neither one of theirs.
They might can use the.
I heard something like that where it was switched.
The child was not either one of theirs.
The kid was switched.
Oh my God!
So now the family has been broken up because the dad thinks that she cheated. The mom swear up and down she never cheated, and found out she had not cheated.
She had not cheated. The kid, they switched them. They got switched at the hospital or something like that. Ooh, that's terrible.
To me, and I know I've never stepped outside of my marriage. I know I was faithful, but when you watch so many shows about different things happening, there's a part of you that's like, I don't mind doing it, but then you're like waiting for that person to say, you are the father, as if you didn't already know, because it's like, what happens if something happened and the test was wrong, or
Well, or you happen to use some baby oil that has some stuff in it and didn't realize you slipped.
Baby oil. Yep. There you go.
I mean, hey, you might have been at the massage parlor, fell asleep, and something happened and you don't think a thing of it, you go thinking,
no,
don't have me
No.
scared to go get a massage. Now.
right? Because that's one of my favorite pastimes.
Right.
me too.
That's better. Look,
What-
a good massage is better than
what-
good sex.
What you talking about?
What about
You ain't never lied. Look, man,
I'm
when
sorry,
I
I
was
don't
younger, I'd be
care.
like, wait a minute.
Look, I don't
Younger,
care how good in bed a man or a woman is. It's something about a good masseuse when you get on that table that you will forego being with that person to be with a stranger you do not know.
Yeah.
They can do things to your body that another person can't
True.
do. Huh?
as the truth comes out?
I would give up a night of good sex for a good massage any night.
Sound like me, Ursula ain't telling the whole story.
No.
And then we hear something tomorrow.
Now we're gonna have to. Me and Houston, we touched on that when we did the first Keeping It 100 After Dark.
Uh-huh.
We touched on that. I don't know. I'm gonna have to get some women together, and I'm gonna have to ask some questions about this whole rose thing because I've heard some stories, and I'm like, let me go to the store right quick. I'm gonna have to go see if I'm gonna do some product testing.
You know what? Yeah, we're gonna get
I
on
have
that
no
subject another
comment.
time, but yeah, because I'm like, it's funny how they got all these toys and women in church folk, everybody be took like it ain't no big deal.
You know
I'm
what?
trying
You think it's wrong, Houston?
Hey, you won't need a man no more.
You think it's wrong?
Yeah,
Houston, to
no.
have a rose?
Everybody need a warm body every now and then. But is
Yeah, I mean,
it
I'm not-
wrong though?
I'm
Is
not
that
saying-
an issue?
Right.
Well, I'm not saying that's an issue. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying the fact that most of the time, if a man had a situation, he got to be involved himself. He ain't got nothing he can plug in.
Yeah.
There is stuff out there.
Oh,
but
you
most
ain't mentioned the store lately then. You ain't
That's
mentioned the
what
store
I'm saying.
lately. I'm
Men are not
sorry.
gonna do that. Most men are not going to do that.
Mm-mm.
So I just saying that. But
Right.
but women that y'all can now,
I'm
too,
gonna
if
look.
men
I'm
do
gonna keep
that,
my mouth. I'm gonna keep my mouth shut. I want to be a bad influence. I'm gonna keep my mouth shut.
I get it. I get it. I get it. I'm not saying that it's wrong. I'm just saying that daggone. There's so many men out here that would be mind trying to take care of you, at least in that fact.
So I think what
Yep.
happened is, and from what
Yep.
I've heard, is at first
She said, "Well,
the rose was a turn on in the beginning, but
Right.
now because it's so much topic of discussion,
Mhm.
it's more so of a replacement, and most
Yeah.
men are not fond of it
Well,
because it is just a quick fix versus, hey, let me
Right.
see what you're doing. So yeah,
right. Well, one, it's a quick fix, and I get it. But at the same time, it used to be like, oh my gosh, I ain't talked to him in a while, or I ain't been with my husband in a while. Ooh, let me butter up to my husband. Now
Mhm.
people be like, what time he go to work? You know what I mean? And take care of themselves, and then they go to work and they ain't worried about him.
Well, that could be on
Well,
other different levels of
you ain't
pleasure.
cheating.
It's
So
true. Yeah, I mean, I know that's a totally different level of pleasure from,
Yeah.
from what I've been told, and I get that.
Mhm.
But now
Well,
they're
I'm
saying,
talking about as far as him pleasing her. There may be a certain standard that he's not meeting, so therefore that may be why she's turning to that.
that is true. But you know what the case of it is too? They've been doing research, and they saying because of stuff like the rose, the pleasure that used to work don't work anymore.
Won't work anymore, right?
Yep.
It don't work anymore. And
Yep.
people have been using stuff like the rose since they were 15, 16, 17, 18.
And
Mhm.
I think the whole concept of sex has changed as well
Yeah,
versus what it
that's-
was till now.
Yep.
So,
That is true, because now back in the day, a lot of men, they were talking about, the good dad that didn't roam all over the place. A lot of these men, they would just go to work, come home, take a shower, do what they do, and go to sleep. They want nothing about pleasing her. It was never about her.
Mhm.
Back in the day, it was never really about that. And that's why I think a whole bunch, sometimes folks was messing around with the mailman or the milkman, because he showed her more attention. Hey, Miss James, how you doing today? Looking nice there. And leave the milk. And after about 3 or 4 times of leaving that milk, she was like, well, do you want some tea? And he know he don't
tea and crumpets. Tea and crumpets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I get it. I get it.
Mhm.
So, but most
Plus,
men,
education. You know, speaking of me, of course, my mother never taught us sex education, and what little sex education we got from her was this. And I'll never forget it. She goes, "You don't need to know about having sex. When you get married, the Lord will show you what to do on your wedding night." And that was it. That was the thing of her sex.
a lot
And
of
I
people,
think a lot of people taught their kids, their sons and daughters this stuff, and they really didn't have a clue. But somebody who had extensive training from their parents
right?
or folks who told them the real deal about sex education and how the anatomy of the female and the anatomy of the male and what you can and cannot do. Well, when they got with those who didn't get that education,
Right.
it blows their mind and everything. So yeah, you got had a lot of black men that just came home. You know, they came home with it. I'm gonna get mine and roll over and go to bed. You know, so that was their thing for the longest time.
You're gonna have to
And
have
it's more of a conversation piece too. Like
Yeah.
with, friends and family, it's just more open and hey,
Well,
Yeah,
it's
because
more
Yeah.
open now
I
because
wasn't gonna
it
ask
doesn't
my
have any
mom
meaning
nothing
to it
about
anymore.
sex.
Yeah.
I refused. Now my
Well,
sister, on the other hand, had no problem even asking them personal questions, and I'm like, oh my God, like really?
Mhm.
I don't
Yeah.
even want to know.
Man, I told mine. I gave mine the ins and outs, and it's like this is how this works. I says, but I had to let them know I'm not condoning or saying that you should go out and have sex, you know, at such a young age or that you have to do it. I says, but there's responsibility and there are things that you really need to know because it can come back and affect you later on in life.
I
So,
try to be open with my kids,
mhm.
but the minute I bring up sex, they just get weirded out. So I mean, my
Well,
son called me last night, and I was thinking about my dad. So when I answered the phone, the first thing I said was, and I saw his name, but you know, your mind, I was thinking about calling my dad. And so the first thing I said was, "Hey, daddy." And I caught myself, and my son was like, "Okay, ew. I don't know who you thought was
Oh
calling you."
man.
I said, "My dad was calling you. Don't you
Mm.
ever say that to me again." I'm
Oh
like,
man.
you know, he didn't want to talk after that. He was like, "Okay, I'm done. I don't even want to talk to you no more." But I mean, I try to be that, and like he don't want to say anything. He'll ask me questions
Mhm.
and then answer the question, no elaboration, just answer the question. My daughter, on the
Yeah.
other hand, just comes in and wants to share way too much information with me, asking me questions, and I'm like, okay, I would feel better
Mhm.
talking to Jacob about stuff like that than you. But I still grin and bear it. But now that Houston brought up the whole gender thing, our last conversation, we ain't got like 30, a little less than 30 minutes.
Mhm.
And of course, it's gonna be another trigger for Maurice. But um
How's it gonna be a trigger
marriage
for me?
role.
You ain't even said what it's about.
So marriage roles versus gender roles.
Mhm.
Is there really a difference?
Yeah, everybody has their place.
Please elaborate.
Example,
Yeah,
Ursula.
everybody.
So in gender roles, men tend to think that women's supposed to cook, clean, take care of the kids, do the
Got it.
homework, vacuum, the whole nine, where they're supposed to, fix the car, cut the grass, do the shutters, that fix the toilet, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Got it.
Whereas,
I think that men should go out and work, and women should stay home, take care of the house. I really do. I said because I don't really think that I don't really believe that she should be out there working and making another man rich, doing his bidding when she can do the same thing at her own house for her home blood and
that
her
part,
husband.
that part,
Yeah.
that part. Now, I would say if she wants to work, but that's a conversation you guys should have before you even get married.
Yeah. Yeah.
A man who wants that should not marry a woman who wants to be independent. Correct. Now, you can therefore start your own business while you're home.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You can do that.
They could start their own business. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
You know, but if you have a woman who wants to be in the corporate world, who wants to work, you know, she shouldn't be married to somebody who wants a traditional family where the wife is home taking care of the kids, you know, whereas a lawyer who's going to be, you know, at court all day probably will miss, you know, she's not going to be able to pick the kids up from school because the court case might be going, you know, those kind of people. The father then takes over those roles because they have to pick the kids up from school and go to the games and the recitals and things like that. So I do believe in traditional roles. However, I don't think anybody should be held to that if that's not what they want to do.
No, they shouldn't be held to it. You know, that's freedom, you know, to do what you know, what you feel is comfortable and right for you. However, I still think that that is a conversation that should be held before you even get married, and that and really should be thought about, because you know most people say it works. I just don't think it. It's
a difficult thing.
It is a very difficult thing, you know, and you look at it 20 years down the line, you go back now, 30, go back 30 years ago to when we first came out on the scene, and you look at how we were working and our wives were working and stuff like that. And then next thing you know, you got problems in the home. There's rumors of divorce, and then there's divorce and everything. Why? Because you have folks that did not take care of their roles in that family. Things were changed up and switched up, and you know, we've got friends and people that we know, people that happen to, you know, things that happen with us that did not turn out the way we expected them to turn out and everything. Why? Because roles were not being followed, and it really sucks, you know, especially when you go back and you think about it. That you look at the Cosby Show, and you're saying, well, Claire, and people bring this up all the time. Say, well, Claire was a lawyer. No, Claire didn't become a lawyer until after Rudy was born. You know, people forget that part. She was a stay-at-home mom the whole time. Cliff was doing his doctor thing, so she took care of the house. She took care of those kids. They didn't have nobody coming over there to take care of those kids. She did all that. And as soon as Rudy was born and was up around about 2 or 3 or whatever, and she went right into her law and everything.
And then Cliff turned around and brought his practice back to his house.
He brought the practice to the house. You see what I'm saying? It's a balance. You have to have a balance there, and that's why I say, you know, in the beginning, you know, if you want to have children,
I'm gonna give a real big shout out to my mom, because she pretty much embodied both, because she had a job where she had to go to work like right before we got, like about almost the same time we got on the school bus. She'd go to work, but then she got off at 3. So she was home by 3:30, 4 o'clock.
Right.
And so if we were home buyers, we usually got one of our older cousins to stay with us. But if we were home, we were only home a short time before she got home. And as soon as she got home, there was a full course meal on the stove to be done before my father his car pulled up in the driveway. Right. And so she was literally that stay-at-home mom who got everything done, but she still worked because they had to make ends meet.
That's what I was going to tackle. That whole make ends meet thing. In this day and age, the way the economy is, the way gas and food and housing and cars, unless you want a simple 2-bedroom house or 3-bedroom house, you know, with the garage. I'm just using this example, with the garage that not closed in, you just drive up to it.
Carport.
The carport. That's all that you're gonna be able to afford on a normal salary right now. So if you only got one person working, you got to have an understanding that we're not going to have all this stuff that we want out of life. Now, the trips and everything, all that stuff is going to be really, we're going to have to be smart with it to make that happen. But when people want $350,000 houses and you want a Lexus in the driveway and you want to take trips 2 or 3 times a year, you can't do that off $50,000, $60,000. You can't do it off $80,000 salary or $100,000. Just one person.
Yeah.
Because that's going to take a lot of your money just to get through the day-to-day stuff, and then buying food and gas, food and stuff for 2 kids or 3 kids. Because if she's a stay-at-home mom, you're not going to stay at home and just have one most of the time.
Yeah.
Don't forget the medical. And medical comes out of nowhere. Anything can happen.
Now, there's a two-edged sword on that, because I know people that two members of the family work, and they got 2 kids, and daycare costs $2,000 a month.
Yep.
So when you go $2,000 a month times 12, that's $24,000. If I'm doing my math right in my head, that's half the salary of someone that's making $50,000.
Yeah.
So it's really strange how, and I'm bringing up another. It's really strange how somebody wants someone to be the breadwinner and he make all the money to take care of you, when you can't hardly take care of yourself on the salary that you make.
Exactly. And you want to have children, and you want to have children on, with this, and you
want to save some of that
somebody
money.
Yeah, because it tells me that somebody wasn't paying attention, because if you got this guy who has this job, if you know anything about math, like you said, you know anything about math, you're like, well, this guy is not going to be able to take care of me and a household for the lifestyle that I want. Now, what I need, even then, we probably had to move out to Montana and find us, a place out there on a dirt road just to get going, or a trailer or something. Or he gonna have to join the military. Or he had to join the military or something. But which ended up happening. Okay, I have a relative. This is exactly how I went. Okay, I had a relative. Both of them went to college right after high school. Okay, both went to college. They met in college. They got married. Both of them became teachers. But they were out teaching in different. One was in Lenoir County. The other one was teaching in Pitt County back in the late 70s. Okay, and they Black. So go figure. They didn't even live in Lenoir or Pitt County. They lived in Wayne County over the border, because that's all they could afford, a trailer. And that's when he woke up and he said, you know what? This ain't working. I'm driving all the way back to Pitt County to work. You driving all the way to Lenoir County over there to Kinston to work. And we both living here in Wayne County in a trailer. He says, nah, he joined the military.
Right.
And when he joined the military, took his family away. So now she didn't have to work no more. They had 2 children, raised the children. Now both kids are lawyers. Both kids are lawyers. The youngest, she's not only is she a lawyer, but she's an artist and an actress. She's all that this. So and then he married the older brother. He married a lawyer at the same firm that he's working at. Now they have 4 sons, which he don't call them his 4 sons. He call them 4 kings, because he trains them and teach them on levels that we should be teaching our children. I mean, they know stuff that, look, if I was to have a conversation when he was a little boy, because of his father and mother, my aunt and uncle, his father was teaching him on levels above us. So he was, I was 9 years old when he was born. When he was 4 or 5, I couldn't have a conversation with him, because he was already, the stuff that he knew was over my head for a guy my age. And I was a teenager, and I'm thinking, man, this kid knows more than I do and everything. Now his kids, so his 4 kings,
so again,
and that's how we're supposed to train and teach and move forward when it comes to families.
if you're looking at a stay at home, I mean, and I think that's really why. Now, as far as gender roles, I think regardless of how everybody feels about, marriage and, or what a man should do, what a woman should do, raising the kid should be both. I think it takes the man's discipline and his way of thinking, and it takes the woman's way of thinking to raise a productive individual. Now, as far as marriage roles, I think that they kind of should mesh because we both have to eat. And if I don't feel like cooking all night, you should cook. Or go get it. I don't care how you feed us, at least, provide the meal.
Right.
Because if, like you said, we're both working a 9 to 5, do I need to be the one who cooks every single night? When the floor needs to be vacuumed, does it stay dirty until I do it? I think, marriage.
You gotta plan better.
What? What'd you say? Wait, what did you say?
I just sound like to me, you need just to plan better.
See, you know what? We're not going to do that, Houston. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. Because it's a conversation that me and James had in the beginning. He says, okay, now it sounds good when you say it. You're thinking about getting married. Everybody's all happy and giddy. And he's like, I tell you what, you take care of the inside of the house. I'll take care of the outside of the house. And I'm like, okay. Not thinking, wait a minute. You got to cut grass only in the summertime. You only fix the car when it breaks down. You only fix something when it breaks. But wait, but I got to cook every day. I got to clean every day.
Right.
I have to take care of the kids every day. So how is that going to be a fair exchange of duties when it comes to the household?
Your life isn't fair.
You know what? I'm not.
It sure isn't. And if you take,
I'm gonna just be devil's advocate. I get it.
Please, because I'm always the devil's advocate. So you go right.
I get it. Now there's some people that they do that and they don't mind doing it because they were built to do it. And
I didn't mind until I had 2 kids. Was working full time, would come home after picking up those 2 said children from daycare,
right?
Come home, put them down, make sure one was doing homework, one was occupied, and then go to the kitchen and cook. And this other said individual comes in the house and says, wait a minute, I need 15, 20 minutes to myself to decompress. I'm going to go to my office. And I'm like, in the beginning, I'm like, okay, you know what? I understand. But it got old because wait a minute, when do I decompress?
True.
Because my second job starts the minute I clock out of my first job.
Look, I get it. And you're absolutely right.
You keep saying I get it. Me and Kay say I get it.
No. I get
you don't get it. You don't get it because you can say something else. Go ahead.
Oh God.
No, I didn't say anything else. I said I get it, and you're absolutely right. That's why you got to have that conversation, and the conversation should be: I'm gonna cook on Mondays and make sure it's enough to go for Monday and Tuesday, and then on Wednesday, you already know you need to pick up a pizza on Wednesday, so we can have some of that pizza. Yep. And then on Thursday, we'll is or something. And then on Friday, we'll figure out what we're going to do. You just got to plan it out. Now, I'm not saying it's going to go perfect like that. But I know people that had that same situation. First marriage was the same situation. I was like, this ain't adding up. Yep. This ain't adding up. I'm trying to run a computer business. I'm washing the car and doing this and the other, but I find myself, I'm in the kitchen. It might be boxed macaroni and cheese, but we're gonna have some macaroni and cheese.
Hey, as long as you making it, I'm good.
Hey, right. It's an effort.
pork chop or some chicken on the grill or baked chicken in the oven, and that was cool. But then I finally went, wait a minute, I got 3 women in the house.
There you go.
Why am I
in the kitchen
doing this in the kitchen and trying to make sure the house is clean? I ain't saying I'm gonna do it, but I'm fussing about it to the point that now I'm the one nagging folks about keeping the house clean.
Now I'm gonna share a quick story.
And I would kindly say it's good to get to know people and living with them before marriage. I think is the way to go, because I learned that the hard way.
Yes,
I had no idea who I was involved with until I lived with him. And what a time it was.
But you know what? We don't realize that we were brought up at a time that you really don't live with nobody until you ready.
True.
So even if you don't live with the person and have
living in sin,
I had to stay right.
Yeah, basically.
But now I'm going, I hate to be this way because I'm a Christian brother. I might need to live in sin more so to be divorced.
Commit a sin.
I'm not in the middle of living together.
Right.
But I'm like, I get it. Now I can understand but then again, is this really a catch-22? Because is that the authentic person that you living with? Because you ain't gonna live with them for 6 months and see the real person.
Well, so what are you gonna do? You're gonna live with it for a year and find out that it's not, no any good?
Hey,
you can see stuff.
I'm gonna tell you.
You can see stuff.
I'll tell you about getting
You can see stuff from the jump.
You can see stuff from the jump because we let stuff go. Now, he ain't gonna be every time you come to his house. It's always a little it ain't quite together. On 1 or 2 occasions that may happen, but if he's a clean person, he knows he's just gonna keep his house that way. You know what I'm saying?
Well, now, I'm gonna say this. So what happened? A story with me trying to get to know a person, not about their habits around the house, but pretty much about their personality. Period. Was we were going to Sycamore, Houston, and I was working 3rd shift at the prison. And so I would come home, and it was one of my nights off that I didn't have to work. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just tired. I don't want to cook and then have to clean the kitchen up. Behind that, I said, hey, can we go out to eat? And this person is what they call what's the word when you're with money, you're not fickle. I can't think of the word, but anyway, thrifty. And so, he was like, no, we're always spending money out to eat. Now, mind you, we ain't about to eat for a while. Spending money out to eat, and that's money we could be saving. And I'm like, oh, okay, fine. I went in the kitchen, took out some pork chops, start taking stuff out the cabinets or whatever. And BT and Shan came over.
Oh, I remember you telling us this.
And they was like, hey, what you guys doing? Like, no, she's getting ready to cook. No, don't cook. Let's go out to eat. Let's go out to eat together. And he was like, well, yeah, let's go out because she wanted to go out anyway. I flipped. I ain't going no so-and-so where. I ain't doing no so-and-so nothing. Because one, if I ask you and you don't want to do it, then you ain't going to do it because somebody else asked you.
See what I'm talking about?
No. Come on now.
Tobias, you pick up on it, did you?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so what were you saying? Another female asked and he said yes, but
another couple
came over.
Our
cousins came over.
I missed that part. I'm sorry.
Our cousins came over and said, "Was let's go out to eat," because we used to hang out with them.
Okay.
And he was like, "Well, she wanted to go out anyway, so let's go." And I'm like, "No, I ain't going nowhere," because when I asked, you said no.
Yeah, don't let nobody else persuade you now, cause you in front of folks. Like, don't show off. Oh, no.
I was mad.
I wouldn't have went nowhere neither.
And not only did I not
cook with y'all right now.
No, it ain't nothing wrong. Don't do that.
To take y'all out, you just going out.
Look, Houston, don't do that now.
He didn't go there.
I'm like Ursula too. I would get you told in front of company and all. You ain't about to do that.
Yes.
You said,
but if it was the other way around, Ursula, I'm pretty sure it would have been a discussion as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, one way don't actually help the other, just because it might have been slightly different the other way.
Oh
I would
God.
say we do
Okay,
have,
Houston.
The time
we got
is up.
30 seconds before keeping it 100 on Oak 93.5 goes offline. So real quick, thank you guys. I appreciate you guys joining tonight. Thank you so much. We will be back next week. Hopefully we're gonna have a debate between a Republican and a Democrat, but we'll let you know. We'll let you know. We'll put a flyer out. Good night, everybody.
All right.